Hey guys, today I'm gonna give you an overview of a DIY hydraulic forging press. It started life as a wood splitter. We actually bought it from a guy that tried to make it into a transportable splitter. You know, like you put on the back of a tractor, but it would be far too heavy for that. It weighs about 500 kilograms and it could also only fit logs up to 90 centimeter, which is not enough. Meter is the standard size here. So it was essentially useless for them, but it was perfect for a cheap forging press. We paid 450 euro for the base unit and another 500 euro for an electric pump, which was necessary because it came with a PTO pump and some additional hydraulic fittings. Let's start off with the hydraulic system. There's a pump. It's a 3 kilowatt unit running at 400 volts 3-phase power. On the right you can see where it gets fed hydraulic oil through this ball valve, and on the back there's the tank. And the exit, here's the high pressure exit, which goes straight up into our distribution block. It's because this is based on excavator parts, the block can actually drive 2 pistons, and those 2 pistons each in 2 directions. That's why it has so many exits that are unused here. Goes straight up into our electric piston, which gives us about 16 tons of pressure. On this diameter it's 6 centimeter, and then it goes back into the exit. Here it gets filtered before it gets fed back into our tank right here. After some time we looked into ways to improve its performance. We made some different dies and a mounting system. As you can see here, some rounded ones, but the most important change that we made were these 2 front support beams. I'm gonna show you right here. These dramatically reduce the flex in the main frame, even though it is very beefy, but it really helped a lot. Also important is the forging technique. You can only put in 1 or 2 centimeters at a time, unless you're at welding heat at the first heat. Then you should get an even distribution so that it doesn't pop open like you can see in this video clip here. But in general, only put in 1, maximum 2 centimeters at a time. This will dramatically improve your forging speed. Although it is quite powerful, it's not like a 50-ton professional forging press, so you don't have just infinite power. You have to be a little bit more careful with this unit. The electrical side isn't too complicated either. We bought a 400 volt power switch on Amazon. Since the pump only pulls about 6.5 amps, you don't need anything fancy. You might wanna get something better if you work with 220 volt and then maybe a 2 kilowatt pump. Then you might wanna get a better switch, but this does the trick here. For the pump, you have to refer to the wiring diagram. Usually that's somewhere on the cable connections on the pump, and maybe watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos and then it should work. Just be careful that your wire isn't near the actual unit or the hot area, so it doesn't wear through the insulation. The control system is just this lever that's bolted to the floor, that's connected with this steel pipe to the control arm, which was installed by the previous owner since they wanted to control it by hand. We just basically left most of the stuff they did because it just works. You just have to make sure that on the bottom panel, on this one, you have enough clearance so that it doesn't bottom out before you reach the full travel on your hydraulic controller, because then you would just lose power. But this is fine for us. Now, as a last safety thing, since you're forging here, you're gonna get red hot scale popping off your pieces. So we decided to install these heat shields, which is just sheet steel that we had lying around, so that the scale wouldn't touch the rubber high pressure hose, because that obviously wouldn't be a very good idea. Also, we got the support, which is absolutely necessary to weld all along the side. And then here's the guide, which is covered just in anti-seize. We didn't have any problems with this stuff catching on fire on something, and I think anti-seize is, for this application, a very nice thing to stop it from sticking. And since your speed is so low, it doesn't really matter. You don't need any special grease or something. And as a last thing, here's the wooden stand we just made from pieces we had, and with spacing to get a forklift under it, which that's a very smart thing to do. If you try to replicate something like this, it's important to get to think about how you are going to move it, because you're not moving it by hand because it's far too heavy. And to be able to get a forklift under it is just wonderful and makes your life so much easier. Now we are already at the end. Thank you for watching. I hope you got some nice inspiration for maybe your own type of build that's similar to this. If you have any questions on specs or something, just ask them in the comments and I'm gonna answer them. Because on something like this, there are still a lot of tiny details that I might have missed in this video that are quite important if you want to make this yourself. And since it's a few years ago since we made ours, I don't know any of the details either. What needs fixing on this piece is the controller, which, as you can see, it leaks quite a lot. That's why we have this catch can here. And the piston, but with hydraulic systems, a bit of leakage is just a sign that there's hydraulic fluid in there, which is nice, so it's not that big of a deal. So, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and bye-bye.